We really need to talk about the Technics AZ100. I'm in Vegas at the moment for CES, which has nothing to do with this video whatsoever, but we had to get it out on time, so hence me walking down the Las Vegas Strip talking to you about a pair of earbuds. So last year I said that the Technics AZ, and we do say Z in this country, well not this country, but in my country, trigger warning, I will say Z throughout this video. I said that the AZ80 were one of the best sounding pair of earbuds I've ever heard, and they looked great, they were easy to carry around thanks to a very small case, the noise cancelling was perfectly good. The biggest problem was that they probably weren't on your list. And the reason for that is because Sony, Bose and Apple, obviously, they have the march on pretty much everyone when it comes to earbuds. You don't think of anyone else. There are other brands, obviously, and yes, I have just had to go down the escalator I just went up because it's a dead end. Anyway, yeah, there are other brands, but have you honestly thought of Technics before? I have, and the reason for that is because my dad was always a massive Technics fan in the 80s and 90s. And that means we always had a Technics hi-fi at home, so I know how good they sound, and I know what heritage Technics has. The big question is, are the AZ100 better than the AZ80? And no, there's no AZ90. Technics thinks this update is good enough to go from 80 to 100. Before I get started, guys, although this video isn't sponsored, I do have some fantastic brand partners who help me keep the lights on. One of those partners is Brain FM, and Brain FM is basically an app that helps you be more productive. They can't guarantee that, but for the last 3 years, I've used it and it has piped this kind of, it's very hard to explain, but it's music that makes you really lock into whatever you're doing. If you've tried using movie themes or ambient music, I've tried all that stuff, trust me, nothing works like Brain FM. And I've got an amazing discount for you. Just go and click that link in the description. Let's go through the specs. So the AZ100 have magnetic, let's get this right, magnetic fluid drivers, which basically means that they've got some magnetic fluid obviously surrounding the driver, which in theory makes the driver movement more uniform and controlled. Basically, they should sound better. The frequency response is 20 Hz to 40 kHz. They support SBC, AAC, LDAC and L3 codecs. They obviously have fully adaptive noise cancelling with a pass-through mode, and battery life is rated at 7 hours with ANC turned on and 18 hours with the case. And yes, the case is wireless charging. The earbuds are rated at IPX4 water resistance, and they have 3-point, yes, 3-point Bluetooth multi-point connectivity, which is impressive. And these are the prices, which I think are pretty good. Right, design, and yes, I have changed my hat. The AZ100s are massively different to the AZ80s. They don't look it possibly in these videos of them, but the case is a lot smaller, significantly smaller, and bearing in mind the AZ80 case was fantastic, that's even better. It's so pocketable. The buds themselves have shrunk. Now they are stemless design. I'm not a big fan of stemless design earbuds, but they're very comfortable, and because Technics have moved the mic placement, they're just much smaller and even more comfortable. They also have touch controls, which no, aren't my favourite method of controlling earbuds, but they don't tend to go off accidentally too often, and they do the job. But mostly design-wise, the Technics AZ100 look great. They look very, this is a compliment by the way, 80s/90s hi-fi. There's some of that vibe going on, and I'm massively here for it. On to the important stuff though, sound. And last year I said that the AZ80s were very hi-fi like, there's that word again, in the way they sounded, so very bright, very detailed, nice stereo separation, nice sort of punchy bottom end, just really nice straight out of the box. The AZ100 are much better. Just like the AZ80s, the AZ100 sound brilliant straight out of the box, and you get all the same stuff. So you get the great top end, you get the width, you get the hi-fi like sound, but the overall body of the sound, again the bottom end, stop laughing at the back, has been really kind of enriched and made much fuller. And you can really hear that on tracks like Jaded by Deadmau5, which has this really powerful kick drum going throughout the entire record. It's just so full, so rich, so detailed. I sound like a Technics fanboy, I know, because I am a little bit, but these things sound incredible. And then you have the mid-range, which is so much more punchy. So on tracks with vocals, which is a lot of tracks, but also guitars and anything that sits within that mid-range, punches through much better than the AZ80, even though they were good anyway. A great example of that is Between 2 Points by David Gilmour. His daughter, Romany, her vocals really sing on the, literally, on these earbuds. And for anyone who doesn't like the way these sound straight out of the box, there's a really good EQ in the Technics app, loads of bands to play with. Basically, I'd challenge anyone not to get these sounding how they want to. As for noise cancelling, it's fine, it does the job. A little bit like Bowers & Wilkins, Technics do put the audio performance above noise cancelling, because if you weren't aware, the drivers have to do the noise cancelling stuff as well as the audio, and you sacrifice a little bit of audio quality if you put too much effort into the noise cancelling, so fair enough. When it comes to the ambient mode, when you let the outside world in, again, it just does the job. It's not spectacular, it's not as good as AirPods Pro 2, but you can change the intensity of the ambient mode in the Technics app, which is quite handy, and it works well for calls. And on the subject of calls, there's a new feature called Voice Focus AI, obviously, which in theory makes your voice audible even if you're somewhere very busy and very noisy. Let's try it. Okay, filming inside a busy casino. I won't show you too much of it just because I'm not sure what the rules are for filming in casinos, but trust me, loads of people around making lots of noise, lots of machines making lots of noise, lots of music as well, which hopefully you can't hear because that will cause a problem for me with the old copyright. But Technics did a test where a guy was standing in the middle of a racetrack with a load of cars doing donuts around him. It was impressive. These coped very well with that. But I think this is a more realistic test because it's just a very noisy, busy environment where you might find yourself in a casino wanting to make a phone call, and you want that person to hear you on the other end. The question is, are these Technics AZ100s doing the job in terms of the AI noise cancelling? Let me know in the comments. I've just listened back to that recording, and yes, it does sound a bit odd, and you can hear some of the background noise when I start talking, but you can hear what I'm saying. You can make out the words. That's the important thing. And it was a very, very noisy room. That's impressive. So, should you buy the A7100? AZ100, not A7100. I don't want to go and film that again because the Las Vegas sign is way too far away. Sorry. If you've got the AZ80, probably not, unless you're a massive Technics fan or your AZ80s are failing on you. Although these are a massive upgrade, if you haven't heard them, well, basically what you don't know can't hurt you. However, if you're in the market for a brand new pair of earbuds and you don't have to get AirPods Pro, please put the AZ100s on your list. If you've enjoyed this slightly unusual video, guys, give it a thumbs up. It makes a massive difference. Equally, if you haven't hit subscribe yet, 87% of the people who watch this channel regularly haven't done that. Just give it a little click. It makes a huge difference. And keep watching for a link to another video I think you'll find very interesting.